Alright guys, I'm now behind the wheel of the new Audi A4 2-liter Quattro, the TFSi with 252 horsepower, and this is a fast car, okay? Because it is way faster than its other German rivals. Yeah, this car is fast. It beats the C300, it beats the I don't know, 330i or something like that. This car is fast. Okay, and as with all Audis, the throttle response is immediate. Unlike the other two rivals where they have a little bit of lag, but Audis are fast. Okay. And this car is the quietest in class now. It is also the most spacious in class. And the one thing that I'm most certain is that even though I don't like the interior design at all, but it is the most well-fitted interior there is in this class. Alright, every single surface, every single panel, every single molding line is high quality. There are no sharp edges, there are no places where you can stuff your finger in and, you know, feel some clips and all that. That is Audi. Audi's build quality has always been impeccable and they've always been good at it. It's just that this round, I don't know what's up with their interior design. I mean, some people like it. I mean, some people really like this new interior design, but I'm not a fan of it because from what I see here, there are some places where it's very unique, very nice. For example, the HVAC controls. I really like this execution. Touch capacitive buttons, both up and down. I really like this execution. And of course the virtual cockpit, which is not in this car. So far, the virtual cockpit is in the 2-liter front-wheel drive, 190 horsepower Audi A4. Okay, the Quattro doesn't come with it because by itself the Quattro is quite expensive. If they were to add that in, it's gonna be really expensive. So but for me, even though as much as I like the virtual cockpit, I'm a supporter of really good analog dials. I prefer analog dials. They look more authentic, they look more sporting. They have that, I don't know, automotive heritage or some shit. I just like analog dials more, and these are really good ones. But in terms of legibility, they are not as clear-cut as BMW's. BMW speedometers might look very simple to many, but actually they are very clear-cut, very easy to take a quick glance and get the information you needed. Whereas Audi analog dials are a bit of I would say flashy. There's a lot of things going on, and you really need to, like, you know, target your crosshair, if I may, to see to pick up the information that you need. So that's the interior, and visibility is excellent. I've driven this car when it was first launched in I forgot, was it Spain or Portugal, or was it? Oh, it's in Italy, Venice. Yeah, and visibility is excellent. The soundproofing is excellent. It is very quiet, and yeah, when it comes to soundproofing, I see a lot of people complaining on forums that, you know, oh, my new 3 Series or my new C-Class, you know, there's wind noise here, whatever there. I know you bought yourself into a premium car, but those are entry-level premium cars. There's a reason you did not buy the E-Class or the S-Class, because you cannot afford them. And the C-Class is made so that you can afford to buy yourself a premium car, and they are not as good as the E or the S when it comes to soundproofing. Same goes the 3 Series. So blame yourself, you can't afford it, not because the car is like that, because a lower segment you get less of something by right, okay? But the A4 here, which is commendable because they made this car quieter than the A8. Of course, that's what they claim, but I believe that was claimed on some Ultra variant. In Europe, they have the Audi A4 Ultra, which is the high efficiency A4, you know, the one that comes with quieter tires, efficient tires, all that nonsense going on, and then the car is a lot quieter than what they, as per what they claim, quieter than the A8. This one, the Quattro, I believe it is fitted with some UHP tires. Obviously, you get a little bit more road raw and all that. So, but generally, this is quieter than all its rivals, every single one of them. And then it is more spacious than all its rivals. And the interior build quality is higher than all its rivals. Whether you buy this or not is up to whether you like its design, which for me, the interior like that, I mean, some people like it, I don't really, but exterior, I think it looks really sharp. For non-Audi enthusiasts or people who are not that into Audis, they are like, oh, this looks so familiar. But actually, if you park both cars side by side, right, there's a lot more difference than, say, the current 5 Series versus the F10 or something like that. It's actually very different. But I can tell it, but not everybody. Okay? Yeah, I think that's the quick run through. I'll talk more about it later. So far, it's expected, as I mean, with every Audis rarely have a flaw in their execution. If you notice, all their cars, right, you go up, right, it's all very practical. There's a lot of cubby spaces. The drivetrains and the engine pairing and all are really good, and they're quiet, they're well built. They have always been like that. Very little flaw for you to pick, but it's whether it strikes your emotion or not. Yeah, that's an Audi. Cheers. Alright, done a bit of driving. First thing, of course, the steering is very accurate. The size is perfect for this cabin. It's not too big, and I like the grip. The grip, I mean, somehow I like. Of course, I like the design of the steering wheel, but I think in terms of the grip, right, BMW really nails it. Their new 330e, the M Sport steering, right, it looks so good, but then it's so plush. This one is the typical type, you know, the harder type. But in terms of the quality materials on the steering wheel, it's definitely a notch higher than that steering wheel you get from the 330e. That one looks good, but in terms of the build, right, that one is a bit, you know. And then when it comes to the weighting of the steering, it's a lot lighter than the previous generation. And of course, the previous generation is still hydraulic steering. This one is electric power steering. Of course, there's no feel, all right. But in terms of the weighting of the steering, I still think that they don't do it as good as BMW does. And then the third thing will be the suspension. When I drove this car back in late 2015 in Europe, it feels very plush back then, because the segment, the European segment, the premium segment, is still the type whereby you go through an expansion joint and then they go tung tung. You know, it was still like this back then. So that's why this car feels very pliant. But as you guys have all read from other reports, from other publications, or videos from other websites, the new 330e is so pliant. It is so pliant now that the moment I got into this car, I felt, oh yeah, the suspension doesn't have that kind of fluidity the 330e has. Okay, of course, this is the sports model. Okay, this suspension is very different from the one I felt in the 2-liter 190 horsepower front-wheel drive A4. That one is like the 330e as well, but this one is not. This one is slightly harder. So yeah, but of course, this is the Quattro. This is like the sports model. It should, by right, be slightly stiffer. But what I'm hoping is that because this one has adaptive suspension, okay, when I go into comfort, by right it should match up to the regular 2-liter 190 horsepower A4, but it doesn't. Okay, it is still slightly stiffer than that. And then the variation between comfort and dynamic is very small. I have an Audi. Mine, when it's in dynamic and comfort, there's a big difference. This one, not so much. Yeah, that's how it feels. And let me try the coasting mode now. So this car, one new thing is that Audi, I really hate this. Okay, when you do this, right, let us scroll through infinitely. Don't stop me at the bottom there. You know, it should allow me to scroll infinitely. Okay, now I'm in efficiency mode, and by right, when I'm in efficiency mode, if I'm coasting, it should. Okay, wait, later. There's some traffic here. This mode, right, Audi has a new function with the transmission. They call it a coasting mode. So when you're in efficiency, you're driving highway coasting for a while, it will kick the car into the coasting mode, whereby the RPM will drop almost like idle RPM, and then the car will just glide because they disengage the transmission from the engine. So that's one of their new selling points, which saves petrol. But when I drove the 2-litre 190 horsepower A4, I don't like it, because if you want to execute something new, you better make sure it's freaking seamless. If I feel it every time it does that, then it takes away the joy of driving. It just feels a bit weird. But at least Audi did it in efficiency mode only. So if you don't like that, just put it back into auto or something like that. Yeah. So far, yeah. Is the car comfortable? Very good. But my colleague Keegan said that the rear seats are not very comfortable. It's quite hard. So I'm gonna try that later. Maybe because my butt has more meat. So I'll see how. So far, yep, the car is like an Audi lah. Huh? They just do everything well. It's just whether they hit you in the heart or not. Whether there's something special for you to like, oh, I really like it, you know. But every time, I mean, this new generation, the Q7, this one, you know, I just feel very cold in the cabin. It just feels yeah, very, very clinical, but flawless nonetheless. Right, so we had a drive in the Quattro variant, so I'm gonna do a walk around of the exterior. Of course, the 4-wheel drive Quattro, you will get the Quattro badge, and then that's the daytime running lights. The car next to me is the 1.4, so you can see the headlights are very different. Look at that. Alright, they are different. And then of course the bumpers. Alright, this one has a sport motif and all that. The Quattro comes with the S-Line body kit. So what does the S-Line entails? The sport seat, where you have a mixture of Alcantara and leather cross-stitching, which looks really good. And this one is very, very comfortable. And of course on the door panel here you have the Alcantara as well. Very nice to feel and touch. There's a mixture of quality, and then this really nice aluminium panel here. This is real aluminium panel. Even this one, the entire thing is real aluminium. So it feels really good to the touch, even this part as well. These are not chrome, these are not satin chrome materials. These are real stuffs that Audi uses for its interior. Okay, you don't get the Bose sound system or Bang & Olufsen and all that, but these are high quality nonetheless. These are the Audi Symphony sound system. Okay, coming to the rear, of course, these seats are more laid back, but even that, this is not the usual sitting position. This is like super behind, you know. I still get a lot of leg room, and I like the fact that I can slot both my feet underneath the seats, so it feels very comfortable. I have a lot of headroom, enough, sufficient of it. But the thing is the headrest. I felt the headrest is a bit too communist, because it forced my head to be like this. This is the position, that's it. I can't even put it down. The moment I put it down, right, it's gonna shove its way into the back of my neck, which feels very uncomfortable. So I have to put it up here, but I can't lay my head. I can't like rest a bit. I can't. It's freaking like, it forces me to be that's it, that's all you can sit. I can't even do that because it has a contour that sort of forces my head to be like this. I find this to be rather uncomfortable, but the seat back is okay. The angle of the seat back and all that is alright. And the aircon vents, they point upwards, so which is the correct facing. Some aircon vents just point like that, which is not nice. The quality of materials in the back, I mean, this is an Audi, so you have very high quality touch points everywhere. You have a blind here, just like in the B8, okay? And then you have some teh-tarik hooks, which I think they're not teh-tarik hooks. You can only hang your blazer here, because if you put teh-tarik here, you close the doors. Okay, better not. Alright, Audi has always been damn good with their door panels. There's a handle here, you can put 1.5 liter bottles here. It's nice, but this round they have some, I don't know why, some hidden space behind there. I don't really like this. This looks cheapo, but it has always been like that. The segment is like that. Nothing special about it. I like the way they make the seats so that you have more knee room and all that. So yeah, that's the rear compartment. It is more spacious than the 3 Series. It is more spacious than the C-Class. It is quieter than both of them. And the 2-liter Quattro variant, which you can see from even the footwell. You see the plates, the metal plates for the brake pedal and all that. This is the Quattro variant with the sport steering and all that. It is slightly stiffer than the 330e. Okay, so I haven't driven the 330e M Sport yet, but in terms of pliancy, this is not as pliant as the 2-liter 190 horsepower version. It's not as pliant as that. Okay, let's have a look at the back. Have a look at the boot. Okay, it is very nicely sized. The opening is super wide, and this is the swan neck design. And look at it, it's squared off, so it's very spacious, and yeah, it's just nice. Okay, I have my, I don't know why, oh, they give us this, cool. And yeah, this is evomalaysia.com. Subscribe, share our magazines, and we're gonna vacate this car now because we've driven the 2-liter Quattro. We'll be moving on to the other cars. Okay, so they have the Audi Assist safety car for us. You can pull these straps as hooks, so when you go pasar or anything, right, you can hang your stuffs here. Okay, I prefer the netting, but they don't have it over here. And what's underneath? A space saver tire. Okay, and then you have your kits in there. Okay, does it have the soundproofing material? Not so much. Okay, but it's alright. The car is very quiet. So yep, that's the interior and exterior of the car. We're gonna swap cars later. Cheers!